Hi, Brian. So, okay. So, any questions? I covered a lot, so this is a good place to ask me questions.
I think you covered it well. I don't know. I think I'm other side of the hemisphere. Or maybe there's too much to ask. Cinderella.
Yeah. Okay. So it can be really simple, like just saying things to yourself, like I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful that I now have X in my life. Mm-hmm. I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful that I have that now. That's all you need to say, whatever it is. And then you let the universe figure out how. So in NLP, right, in the NLP practitioner, I teach us a process called Steps to an Achievable Outcome. And in the process, we teach you to identify an end goal and then to reverse engineer it out to now. Because most people don't achieve their goals for two reasons. One, because they have judgments blocking them, which we're going to clear some of those today. And another reason is because they try to figure out what the next step is, rather than just dealing with the end goal. So when you're trying to figure out what the next step is, you're caught up in the how. You have to figure out how to do this. How many times do you say that to yourself? Well, once I know how, I'll have it. It's like you'll never have it. You don't need to know how. There's a higher energy doing that for you. All you have to do is ask for what it is you ask, and it is given. It is done unto you as you believe. So all you need to do is ask for the end goal. And then whatever fears, doubts, judgments, limiting beliefs come up, you just clear them. I can promise you from the last 20 years of work I've done with clients, and I've done thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of repatterning work with clients, I can promise you that when you ask for something big, that everything that exists in your consciousness that's contrary to that goal is going to present itself. And when it does, all you have to do is clear it. A lot of people get stuck because they think that when it presents if I'm not on the phone doing a private session with a client, then I'm on the phone talking to people about enrolling into one of those. So, I have a lot of data on people's belief systems and limiting beliefs and mindsets. I have more data than I care to have. Because at the end of the day, it all just circles back around and deduces down to, I'm not worthy. Okay? So,
I'm sorry, could I ask you to repeat when you said when what presents itself? Like you said when all we need to do is ask for the end goal.
Yeah.
And not to focus on the how.
yeah.
But you were saying.
And then, when you ask for that, be prepared for everything that exists in your programming that's contrary to that end goal to show up and present itself. And it'll do so in such a way that you may actually be tempted to believe it's true.
The what ifs.
Yeah. Like, an example would be, let's say you decide you're committing to yourself, you're committing to your growth, and you're going to commit to taking more trainings, coming like every month, or coming to the NLP practitioner in September. And then everything that, because that's power, right? When you commit and you say, I'm gonna just learn all the tools, and I'm gonna learn them with enough repetition that I just apply them instead of the fear and doubt. When you say that, and you start showing up here, that everything that's contrary to that end goal that you've asked for will show up, like, I'm busy, I have to work, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, my spouse needs me, my kids need me, it's too far to drive, I should be doing something else. All kinds of stuff will present itself to keep you from being here. And then what you do with that is you override it and you come and get the tools and you clear it. And you just keep clearing it and keep clearing it and keep clearing it. And you clear through enough layers of the programming until you finally get to your unworthiness belief. And then you clear that.
That's very reassuring to know. Yeah, because it's like, you know, they're coming month after month this year, with the exception of 1 month. And applying it, I feel like I truly do need to come back, because a week or two will go by and I'll find myself getting back into somewhat of a sluggish funk, because it's like, I'm too tired, or I have too much work, or I have too much networking at night, or I can't do this, I can't read, or, you know, I'm not focusing on the reading and the tools and the things that are going to lead me to my end result.
That's right. But yet, interestingly enough, you find time to talk negatively to yourself. You find time to put yourself down. You find time to judge yourself and judge others. And that, whether that's a nanosecond or hours in the day, is irrelevant. It's energy. And since we're 75% water, whatever we're saying to ourselves and however we're treating ourselves is actually making up our energy field, and then that's attracting to us more of the same. So, because the hippocampus is all about building up tons of neural pathways around a certain frequency, whatever frequency we feed it, right? What'll happen is, let's say that it's negative, the programming that we're giving ourselves, right? So that negative programming will build up, build up, build up, build up, build up, and then we have this huge bandwidth. Instead of like a little DSL, we've got a T cable, you know, we've got a huge bandwidth on all of this negative programming. So let's say you come here once a year. Well, would you breathe once a year? You know, would you eat lunch once a year? No, you need to build up the bandwidth on within your hippocampus of the positive. You need to build up that part of you that didn't get enough love. And you need to keep building it, because there's a whole world that surrounds us that's based in fear. So until you get yourself to a tipping point where you have so much neurology built up around I am enough, I am love, until you get to that space, you have to keep exercising your hippocampus. So you wouldn't work out once a month and expect to have a fit body. You wouldn't work out once a year and expect to be in shape, right? You gotta go on a consistent basis. Because whatever you put in consistently is what comes out consistently. Yeah. And I know that in some ways, for some people, it can seem like this doesn't work. But the thing is this always works if you work this. Negativity always works if you're always working negativity. Fear and doubt always works if you're always working fear and doubt. Self-love always works if you're always working self-love. It's really simple. And no, it's not hard, because I can hear it in your mind going, but it's going to be hard for me to get there. That's not true. That's just something that your ego's saying to keep you from getting there. So I hear people's thoughts too.
Well, why does the ego?
Who cares? Do we care? It just does.
Well,
And that's not to diminish your question. It's though, if you knew why it did it, would it change it from doing it for you?
I think if I knew why, just from like analytical,
Yeah.
always think,
Yeah.
then you act based on what you know. And so I guess for me, the question is, if I have the knowledge, then I would undo that thinking, in a sense.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Could you undo that thinking without knowing why?
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
I have to be very disciplined about it.
Yeah.
I have this tendency to question.
Yeah, I know, and that's your problem. That's your problem. That's everybody's problem. Everybody's problem is we want to know how it happens. And it's like, who cares? As long as it happens. It's not your job to figure out how something manifests. The time you spend in figuring out how it manifests, wouldn't you rather spend it manifesting?
Kind of like, I don't know how my body creates red blood cells.
But it does.
Today, so why?
Unless you wanted to become a biologist, who cares? Right?
Shift your focus on.
Onto just the end goal. Yeah. Yeah. So, it wasn't to diminish your question, it's just for you to have clarity on the point behind the question. Where would that take you? Would it be a useful use of your time and energy?
My old mentors used to say, knowing why is the booby prize.
Well, and what we know about
I
why,
have a hard time with that sometimes.
okay, so what we know about why from the NLP training is that why uncovers motivation. And so when you ask a child, why did you mess up? They don't know why. Because why don't they know why? Well, because coming from an adult place where we're placing judgment on their behavior and considering it to be negative or a mess up, the child has no bandwidth on how we're going to judge something. So when you say to them, why did you mess up? It's like, I don't know. Well, and this is, this is a parenting breakthrough for me, is that I always used to ask my daughter, like, why do you do that? Why don't you do that? She's like, I don't know. And then it was like one day when I started down the path of personal development, so it actually was so I could become a better parent. I'm like, oh my gosh. Of course she doesn't know why she does it. Because I'm judging what she does and I'm giving it a negative spin. So therefore, why would she know why she made a mistake? It's me that's projecting that what she did is a mistake. Right? So when you say, well, why does the ego do that? Because that's what the ego does. And you can repattern your ego. Because your ego is a product of all your childhood programming. So your ego does that, if you want to know the answer to the question. Your ego does that is because that's the way you've been patterned. It's time to unwind your patterning. It's not serving you anymore. It did serve you at one time, but you're not that person anymore. You're not unconscious anymore. Yeah? Okay? So here's some nice affirmations. So I'm so grateful and thankful that my weekly income exceeds X. I'm so grateful and thankful that my weekly income exceeds X. Now let me tell you, I want to say something about that. Let me give you one more affirmation first. I'm so grateful and thankful that I have that now. Not next week, but now. Okay. Cool. So let me give it to you again so you can catch up. I'm so grateful and thankful that my weekly income is X. I'm so grateful and thankful that I have that now. Now I want to share something with you. When I first started doing that affirmation and installing it as repetition into my hippocampus, everything that was in my existence that was contrary to that showed up. So every bill, every debt, everything, and not just around money, but around other areas of my life that were not prosperous and abundant. Do you want me to say that again? So every area of my life that was not, because I set a money goal, a weekly money goal, and so everything in my existence around money that was not the goal showed up and presented itself. Every debt, all of it around money. Then in addition to that, every other area of my life that wasn't that abundant, whatever that number was, showed me a deficit as well. Because we live in a universe of polarity. We have north and south, we have east and west, we have up and down, we have right and left, we have dark and light, right? So when I made a statement that this is now, and I have this now, this is now my weekly money goal, then every other area of my life that was less than that also became glaringly obvious. Right down to my digestive system and my circulatory system. Every area of my life showed me where that deficit was. And really where it took me is to the limiting belief that was behind that. And that limiting belief ended up being, I'm not enough. Okay? So when you're setting your goals and shit shows up, number one rule is it's not real. It's not true anymore. It might have been at one time, but it's not anymore. Number two, by the very nature of how obvious it has become, means it's exiting. So a classic example of that is when you have the flu. When you have the symptoms of the flu, it means it's exiting your body. That's why you feel horrible. When you have pain, it means that it's acidic thinking exiting your body.
Pain is weakness in the body.
That's right. So,
What did you say?
pain is weakness in the body.
Pain is weakness in the body.
So what you want to do is you want to actually tap into your brain syndicate and nourish it and feed it and love it. So I was thinking that we might actually do that now. Okay, so I write this down. So I am so grateful and thankful for me being me. I am so grateful and thankful for everything I've ever experienced. I'm so grateful and thankful that I get to go through this process of self-love. Okay? So, if you want to just put your stuff down, we'll go through one of the first processes that I want to teach you. Just put everything down and make yourself really comfortable. And you can close your eyes. Now, the first thing I want you to do is just imagine yourself inside your body. So wherever you had yourself before, traveling about, disconnected from you, I want you to bring yourself right back into yourself. So pull yourself back into your body. And you can do that by going right into the center of your skull. Right into the center of your skull. And to find the center of your skull, I want you to imagine a stream of white light coming right down through the center of the top of your head, going right down through your skull, through your neck, into your torso, down through the center of your being, through your hips, down your legs, out your feet, into the floor, through the floor, and right into the center of the earth. And I want you to imagine it. There's a big giant spindle, wooden spindle, in the center of the earth. And I want you to wrap that cord of white light around the spindle. And I want you to tighten up the spindle so you feel snug to the earth. So you're just going to ground yourself to the earth. And in that space, just feel yourself one with the chair. Your feet are like connecting into the earth. You're one with the earth. And you've basically stepped right back inside of yourself. And in this place, as you just sit in this space, and you allow that flow down through the top of your head, through your entire being. So put your feet on the floor, open up your hands, there we go. That's right. And imagine a stream of purple light coming right into the center of your forehead. And as that beam of purple light comes right into the center of your forehead, it goes right through your skull, it intercepts that stream of white light, and creates a cross. And it exits out the back of your skull at a slight tilt down, like maybe a 5-degree or so tilt downward out the back of your skull. And in that space, so that cross, see yourself sitting right on that cross. See yourself sitting right on the cross. And your legs are dangling. And you're just sitting there, very comfortable. This is what we call 0 point. This is where you've taken all of you that you've had out there, and you bring it right, all of you right inside of yourself, and you sit right in 0 point. And you reconnect back into the mind of God. You give yourself permission to be aligned. And in that alignment, you just sit there. And this is a space you can go every day, several times a day. Just reconnect to you. Bring yourself back into you. And you can say this to yourself, inside yourself. You can say thank you. Just thank you. Thank you for you being you, for me being me. Just thank you. And anytime any sort of a distraction comes up, whether it's a sound, a thought, a feeling, an idea, say thank you. Say thank you. And now you can say, I love you. And you can keep saying, thank you, I love you, until you feel it. Thank you, I love you. Thank you, I love you. Thank you, I love you. In this space, you can heal anything. You can declare my immune system is healed. You can declare my endocrine system is healed. My respiratory system is healed. My metabolism is healed. My digestive system is healed. All my organs, my pancreas, my gallbladder, my heart, my lungs, all my organs, my kidneys, my liver, all my organs are healed. And in this space, you can declare that all of my beliefs that have blocked me in the past are healed, and released, dissolved. Thank you. I love you. All my relationships are healed, especially the relationship that I have with myself. Thank you, and I love you. And now you can imagine above your head is a beautiful golden orb. Beautiful. Wonderful, beautiful ball of golden liquid gold. And you can allow and invite and have that liquid gold orb release and begin to pour liquid gold down through the top of your head and into your skull, pouring into your brain, left and right hemisphere of your brain, moving through all of the gray matter, filling up all of the little crevices and spaces of both your left and right hemisphere of your brain. Filling all of the blood vessels and veins and nerves. Filling your entire skull. Filling the space between the left and right hemisphere of your brain. And building little golden bridges between the two. Little golden bridges between the two. Connecting your intuition with your logic and your higher guidance. And now I want you to have that liquid gold pour in and around your pituitary gland and your pineal gland, and just clearing all the calcification and stagnation away. And seeing them vibrant and alive and fresh, and releasing hormone of vibrancy, youthfulness, regeneration, love. In fact, the liquid gold is laced with love. It consists of love. It is an expression of love. Liquid gold is the highest vibration. And have it, that liquid gold, encapsulate your hippocampus, filling it with unconditional love. So your hippocampus can go about the business of creating neural pathways of unconditional love. And see those neural pathways blossoming and building and populating and compounding exponentially. So your brain begins to transmit unconditional love, prosperity, opulence. And now you'll notice that your brain is so full of liquid gold, and your skull is so full of liquid gold. It is pouring down through the center of your neck and into your heart. It's filling your heart with unconditional love. Heart now is filled with liquid gold. So your heart is pumping liquid gold through every vein, down your arms, your shoulders, your back, your chest, down your spinal cord. It's filled to your spinal cord fluid with liquid gold. And it's moving into your pelvis, it's coming through and wrapping around your torso through your ribs. It's in the bone marrow. It's liquid gold, this unconditional love is in your bone marrow. It's moving through your torso, your pelvis, your hips, your legs. It's filling your intestines, your lungs are breathing liquid gold. Every time you take a breath, you breathe in liquid gold and you release pain and suffering. You release struggle and strife. And you fill yourself with unconditional love. Your cup runneth over. And it pours right down through your feet. It's coming out your fingertips. It's endless. It's infinite. You're healed. You're blessed. Your entire being is love. You're welcome to make any notes you want to make. Okay. So, so the pituitary gland is a small structure at the base of the brain, which releases a wide variety of hormones and in turn controls the activities of the body's other hormonal glands. So our thyroid is in our throat. And essentially what happens is, as we age in our thinking, we age in our body. So our bodies wear out because our thinking gives up. That's why age is irrelevant. And so when we tell ourselves things like, I'm old, or I'm getting old, or my life is, ending or coming to a closure, or whatever it is we say, then we send a signal to our glands, particularly our pituitary, to produce aging. So, and there's young people that think they're old and they look old. And there's old people that think they're young and they look young. Because it's whatever you believe. I remember I had a friend, and I say that loosely, we walked dogs together because we met in a community and we all had dogs. So we would occasionally walk our dogs together. And I remember, when she turned 40, she went out and got glasses. And she said, and I said, I don't understand that. She's like, well, don't you have glasses? And I went, no, I have 20/20. She goes, well, everybody needs glasses when they're hit their 40s. And I went, wow.
That's crazy.
Everyone needs glasses once they hit their 40s. Okay. So guess what? She needed glasses. So what do you think that did to her, the rest of her environment, this being her environment, right? So over a period of time, she ended up having a thyroid issue. And so in having her thyroid issue, she developed actually thyroid cancer and went to the doctor, and the doctor put her through, the typical treatment. And then they just decided that they weren't going to be able to control the cancer from coming back, so they eliminated her thyroid. No, I've never known anyone that's been through that kind of an experience. So for me, it was like an experiment. You know, all my relationships are experiments. And so they gave her a pill that basically radiated the thyroid and killed it. And the pill was so strong that her husband and her children couldn't be home with her for days. And she couldn't go out in public. Because it was so strong, it would emanate from her body to their body and kill their thyroid too. Yeah. So if you didn't believe the water, now do you believe what energy does? Right? So, I mean, it doesn't compute that would be the only way. But that's what she accepted. So therefore, that's what she did. So she literally spent, I can't remember if it was like 3 or 4 days alone at home. They went and stayed at a hotel. Like her husband couldn't even sleep in the bed next to her. She couldn't, get up and like do breakfast for her boys. So this is what happens, you see, is so in her, how does that tie together? So she had a belief system that in her 40s, her eyes lose their vision, therefore she needs glasses. So what's the root cause to that?
Programming.
Yeah, I'm not enough. I mean, at the end of the day, it boils down to, I'm not able to continue to regenerate. So we're designed for regeneration. It's how we're made. That's why when you cut yourself, you heal. That's why when you break a bone, it heals, right? So at what stage of the game do you get to where you say, I continue to heal, I continue to regenerate? And some people think that once they hit a certain number, that stops and that they can't carry through, that they can't continue to regenerate, and it becomes true. So then the aging process kicks in. So in that is, I'm not enough. I'm not capable of staying and being enough. So when you say that to yourself in repetition with intensity, then it actually diminishes the thyroid. So the belief system, I'm not enough, I never get to do what I want to do with my life, actually will destroy the thyroid. And the thyroid will either become hypo or hyper, depending on what you're feeding it. And she fed it that belief system to the point where it became cancerous, because it was fear-based. And then she needed to kill it. Like, she took it so far that she had to kill it. Like, I can't get out of my own way and love myself, so let me just kill the part of my body that's representing and showing me what I'm doing with myself. Do you guys get it? So these are the kinds of things that we buy into and we do with our lives. And then we look for something outside of us to fix us. Because we keep believing that we can't love ourselves. And if you keep believing you can't love yourself, then you keep believing that you need something outside of you to love you, fix you, nourish you, take care of you in some fashion. Now that's not to say that we shouldn't have relationships, okay? I'm not saying that you should be alone. That's not what I'm saying. We're human beings, and so we respond to connectivity. But that's another talk show, right? That's another conversation. I'm doing this discussion for the point of the importance behind your pituitary gland. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's look at power. This came out of the book Power versus Force. And if you don't have the book, I recommend you get it. And by the way, I have so much new information around neuroscience that what I have decided to do is to, instead of just having one mind mastery a month, I'm gonna plug in 3. So 3 in July, 3 in August, and then leading up to the NLP practitioner in September. So you'll be able to continue to repattern yourselves leading up to that 10-day program. So power versus force. So here are the hidden detriments of human behavior. David Hawkins. We all know who he is, right? So basically, if we were to look at this as being a vibration, right? Has a vibration. I mean, the chair you're in has a vibration, those plants have a vibration, your hair has a vibration, your thoughts have a vibration, your emotions have a vibration, everything vibrates, just at different density, right? So what he did was he created a scale, and the scale goes from the highest to the lowest, or from the lowest to the highest, depending on how you want to look at it. Now, in different parts of our lives, we can be in different parts of the scale, okay? So when we look at the alpha and omega, this is, remember when I ran the light through you and then I ran the gold through you, okay? So it's about creating a connectivity, and the energy comes in, it's divinity, whether you call it God or whatever you want to call it. The energy comes in and it basically moves through us, and we can use it to actually clean up and recreate whatever we want to clean up and recreate in our belief system, which is stored in our mind, which is in every cell of our body. Do you see the connecting dots here? Okay? So what he's saying is that shame is the lowest vibration that exists. And at the level of shame and guilt, shame is a belief, the limiting belief, I'm not enough. So from a personal perspective, from my own journey through all of this, well, let me say this first. So neutrality is what we would call like the 0 point, choice point. Once you get to, well, even at anger, because anger is movement, right? It's a moving energy. Below anger is a stagnation, and usually there's little or no movement. At least when you get to anger, you know, your energy starts to move, because when you get pissed off, you start to make things happen. So, but once, you know, there's more choice here than there is down here. So you start to get to this place and above, and you're at choice point, and you're coming up the ladder, right? So in here, at neutrality is what we would consider choice points. So now you're starting to choose, instead of choosing, you know, stagnation, you're choosing more, bless you, along the love aspect, right? So this whole like courage and pride is in NLP when we talk about an away from driver, like when you're, like Marcel was talking about her comp plan, when you're saying I have to reach this comp plan, therefore I have to perform, anytime you're saying I have to do anything, you're moving away from the pain of something you don't want to feel. And that language will never take you the distance. So that because it's negative. It's like, I have to do this because if I don't, something bad will happen. That's a negative motivator. And they have short legs. It might work initially, but but it won't take you the distance, and you certainly won't enjoy the journey, okay? So once you get to this neutrality, then you're coming up the scale and you're getting into a place of more choice. So it's a higher vibratory emotion. So when we look at the limiting belief of I'm not enough is usually anchored in shame. So if you wonder why you're not reaching your goals, it's probably because you're below choice point most of the time. So for my own personal journey, what's interesting is that probably the first say half of my existence was getting myself out of here. Because my family lineage was anchored in shame. Just like insurmountable amounts of shame. And I didn't understand initially, because I can't, you know, as babies we come into the world filled with love, right? And so we come in and we're just love, 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 love. So I had to learn this. And as I learned it, and it propagated my thinking system, the conflict between the love I came in as a being and the shame that permeated the generations of my family was so conflicted and so combustible that I learned to hide inside myself and not feel whatever was being thrown at me. So once I started studying NLP and I found all these tools and these exercises to unwind that patterning, there was a lot of layers that I had built on top of this so that I didn't have to identify it, because it was so painful. But then once I started unwinding it, it got really easy. So over the last 20 years, having developed this program is to give it to you in like the least amount of change for the greatest result. So you don't have to go through all the processing I did. I'm giving you the short version, right? And it can be quite painless, actually. So that's the cool part. Because where I processed myself to get out of here and up into some point of choice point, it was really painful because I was doing it from a place of I'm not enough. But you see, where I'm teaching you guys these tools is I'm teaching you from a place of unconditional love. Do you see the difference?
Yes.
Yeah. So, learning, and this is why I'm not a big proponent of just like massive action and push hard, because it's not loving. It's coming from a place of lack. So rather than teach you how to do massive action and push hard, instead of teaching you the basis of it, it is all about love. So when we come in at this vibration of self-love, then whatever's down here isn't hard anymore to let go of. It's actually easy to let go of. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah? So when he laid this out, when Dr. Hawkins laid this out, basically what he's saying is that to be really conscious of what you say to yourself every day, all day long, will reveal to you the reason you're not getting the results you want. Or it may reveal to you that, that you could be getting better results with less effort, which is my favorite, right? So let's say, because I've worked with a lot of ultra high net worth individuals being involved in the luxury markets across 3 continents. And so, you know, being around people that are billionaires and multi-millionaires, they already have a lot materially. And so some of them got there because of this, because they were compensating for a lack of self-love. And some of them got there because of this. The bottom line is they both got there. The question that he's asking is, what path do you choose? Because you can reach your goal, even you can beat yourself up and reach your goal. You can look at different sales cultures. Like let's say the auto industry, you're only as good as your last month. And you're out. You're on the low end of the production pole, you're out. Don't even show up next week. You're just out. Goodbye. Bye. You know, it's like that, right? So that's coming from down here. So the guys that aren't out are performing from down here. Imagine being in an organization, in an environment that has you performing from here. You'll both get the goal. These guys will be bruised and beaten up as a result of it. They're probably the ones who go home at the end of the day and drink alcohol, and they probably smoke a lot of cigarettes and eat a lot of negative acidic food, right? Because it's all part of it. But when you're, lack of time for exercise, lack of high vibrational foods, high vibrational friends, relationships, activities, but the people that are achieving from here, from this space, it's just much more fulfilling and it's much more fun. It might be the same money at the end of the day. So when I hear someone say to me, I don't need to come to your class because I have a lot of money, it's like, to me that's irrelevant. It's not how much money you have, it's what space within you are you creating it from. Yeah.
Oh, I was just writing, but I had fun.
Yeah, I know.
No, because, it just started kicking in the outcomes to achievable, the steps to achievable outcomes. What do you know? One of the questions there is, do you know anybody who's doing it?
Right.
So then, because you're talking about the sales and whatnot, so relating to that part.
Yeah.
Do I know any organizations that are operating from love in the sales capacity? Don't.
Okay, well that's awesome, because then could you fake it? Could you pretend you do? Could you act as if?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's the next part.
Right? So could you be that person? Holy cow, what if, because you're amazing at sales, what if you created a whole sales training from here and blew that up and sold that to all these companies that are suffering because they're doing it from here? Take that back. Cancel that. Say I love you, Deborah.
I love you.
I love you too.
Yeah.
So, right, do you see what happened? You're like, oh my God, you got a glimpse of your awesomeness, and that freaks you out. So that's why those words came out. Right? I know. And you changing the real estate industry. That's where the real estate industry's functioned from forever. Now you're creating it from here. So I'm sure your shit is up. Yeah? So what a great opportunity. There's no joke when I say to you, you're redesigning the real estate industry and the law profession. Same thing. I had a conversation with an attorney on Tuesday night. There was a little appreciation party at my gym. We're having this conversation about how so many attorneys are alcoholics. Well, it's because they're coping and they're so in conflict with themselves. Like, it's not, I don't care what profession you're in, it's not naturally I want to say biodegradable. It's not naturally biologically, psychologically, sociologically part of us to work 20 hours a day and never play and never have fun, and not see sunlight or walk on the grass in our bare feet. Like, it just isn't. And this is an old archaic thinking system that this is what we have to do in order to acquire material stuff we're not going to take with us. Because we're in a fear mindset that if we don't hoard enough to pass on to the next generation, that they won't have enough either. Like, all of that is such a lie, because we live in an infinitely abundant universe, and all we have to do is think and believe everything we want in form.
Yeah.
So what would that do? You know, I have a girlfriend that's a gynecologist, and once or twice a month, I can't remember which, she goes on call. She's at the hospital, and they do, it's a 72 hours shift. Like, I can't even fathom the comprehension behind that. Like, this is our health system, we call it. And we have our health professionals, after spending 10 plus years in university getting the training, spending 72 hours without a break at a hospital to serve us that are ill so we can become healthy. Like, all the conflicts in that, just like, you know, are down here. So can you see the picture I'm painting for you is that we've built an entire organizational structure within the minds of humanity that is designed to keep you below choice point. And I don't want to get into why that exists, because it doesn't matter. All that matters is that you choose to be, you know, somewhere in the higher, and you do the work on yourself to release that old program, because it's not true. It's just a program. It's just a piece of software that goes into your computer that you can take out. You just click the uninstall button. You know, when you go to your computer and it's like install, uninstall programs, just you click uninstall and you watch it go through this process. So we're on that journey. Yeah.
What is reason in that?
It's reason.
Makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, we go through choice point, then we have a willingness to expand ourselves and accept new ways of being. And then we have acceptance, where we accept ourselves. So anything below here, we don't accept ourselves. So what you don't accept, you can't change. When someone says to me, I don't know why this is happening to me, that's the first problem with their language patterns. So I don't know why this is happening to me. This shouldn't be happening to me. This is not me. So where are they? They're below acceptance. Because the bottom line is, it's happening to you because you created it. So when you accept that, you can change it. But if you remain in denial that whatever's going on in your life is you at cause, creating that through your thoughts, then you'll never be in a power position to change it. As soon as you're willing to look in the mirror and go, whatever I'm experiencing is my doing, then you'll know. Or shall I say, whatever I'm experiencing is a product of a program. It's not really me. So I choose to change my program. When you say that, then it all unravels. Do you want me to say that again? I want you to write that down, because that was brilliant. Good job, Deborah. So, because I just rewired myself, because I caught myself, projecting a limitation. And so, when you look in the mirror and you say, whatever I'm experiencing is just the product of an old program. Whatever I'm experiencing is just the product of an old program. And I now choose to delete that program because it's not true. So I'll tell you a little experiment for all you single ladies. I'll tell you a little experiment that I've been doing. Is whenever I'm dating someone, I feel like having a Taylor Swift move, you know? So whenever I'm dating someone, I always look at the relationship as being a mirror. So it's feedback. So how is he showing up, or is he? Sometimes they don't. How is he showing up, and what is that telling me about where I'm at with me? Yeah. And so the more I'm being me, and that doesn't necessarily mean they stick around, because sometimes they run away. The more I'm me, then sometimes they can't handle that. So it's like, whoa, that's more than I bargained for, and they're gone. And sometimes it's like they're like, oh, I'm not worthy of that, so they run off. Or sometimes they stick around. And sometimes when they stick around, they want me to accept the lower vibration, wherever they might be. And part of me has still bought into that lower vibration for this person to even be in my existence. Yeah. So what part of me is still down in the lower vibration that has brought this person into my existence that I can heal with love? And then when I heal it with love and I bless them with love, they either shift with me or they leave. And either way is good. Because if they leave, I bless them with love. So for all you single ladies out there that, you know, think you've been rejected, and this is a wonderful breakthrough, right? That think you've been rejected because he doesn't call or show up or follow through, it's a gift. Because one of two things have happened. One, he couldn't roll with you anyway. Or two, your love vibration is so high that there's someone better. And that goes for guys too that are single, right? It's about the relationship. So it's, you know, we, at the end of the day, in NLP we say we marry our unconscious mind. So another way of languaging that is, you know, we attract our frequency. And this is why sometimes marriages don't last. Because if one person's raising their frequency and growing and the other person's holding on to the lower vibrations, it becomes like an impossibility. It happens in companies, happens in jobs, happens, you know, in friendships. So this is part of the challenge of what's going on the planet for a lot of people is, and I was thinking about this the other day, you know, it's a different realm, and I'm going to use that word, it's a different realm that we're in now than we've ever been. Because in the past, it's not the way it was in the past, where the prevalent need is that we have one job forever, that we have one partner forever, that we get into this thing, this situation, this relationship, this dynamic, and then we have to stay at that level, whatever it is, forever. That doesn't exist anymore. That was an old vibrational concept. And this is happening so quickly for so many people that it's like you best not make too hard of a commitment unless whatever you're committing to is on the fast track too. Now that doesn't give excuse or license to fail when it gets challenging. It's not what I'm saying, because I still am of that belief system, and I choose to stay in a belief system of monogamy and commitment, because that's what worse for my values. What I am saying though is when you choose that person, make sure they're also committed to their enlightenment.
Yeah.
And then as you're moving up the scale, one might move more than the other, but you'll move, right? And as each person moves, the vibration that you share energetically within your home and your environment together will bring and awaken that other person. Bring that other person along and awaken them. So if you're ahead for a while, it's not a reason to bail. But you gotta keep checking in with each other to make sure the commitment remains for each person to step into enlightenment within themselves.
I think that's relevant too, as far as, sales, right? You're working with a client, you're working with a company, I think what you mentioned earlier about if something's lacking in a relationship or something that didn't go well, like I got an objection or a client said no to me, okay, what am I projecting that is maybe in that negative space that then I need to shift to then be better or attract something different? So I think we have relationships, but I love the fact that it also conforms to basically everything.
It's life.
It's your observing ego, right? We all have it. How do others perceive us? How do I perceive myself? And I think that's a great checkpoint for your observing ego.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because this is life. And again, it's, so our soul is energy, and some argue that it exists inside of us, some argue that we exist inside of it. Whatever. Think whatever you want, I don't care. The thing is that it's a great recorder, and it recalls everything, right from your very first time of existence. And so within that, anything that's been imprinted through experiences in your life that's below acceptance, that's below choice point, when you set a goal, and that goal, within that, inherent in the goal, let's say you set a money goal, and inherent in the money goal is love. I'm creating this, I am so grateful and so thankful that my income exceeds X, and I'm so grateful and thankful that I have that now. Then your soul will show you everything in the programming that's contrary to the goal. And if you remember, when you remember to step just back from that a little bit and remain objective, that what's being presented to you is an opportunity for clearing rather than it being reality, then you'll just go ahead and delete, dissolve, delete, dissolve, delete, dissolve, delete, dissolve. And you'll keep pushing through until you actually stand in, at the very least, a space of love. And you'll stand there as being the baseline of your existence.
No longer neutral.
Yeah.
Baseline of love.
Now your baseline is love. And so from that space of having the baseline of your existence be love, which is what it always was and always will be, right? Should I say that again? The baseline of your existence is love, which is what it always was and always will be. Then the calls you make, the relationships you have, even showing up at a networking event, just stand in the room and just let it come. And it will come. So I'll give you an example of that, because a lot of this is theoretical. So to give you an example of that, so a couple weeks ago, a week and a half ago, I was at an event, and I ran into some people that I knew, and we kind of hooked up and started hanging out and had a couple cocktails, right? And I got there early, I got there about 6-ish. So around 10 o'clock, they're like, okay, we're taking off. And by that point, the place was packed. And I I mean, I'd spoken to a lot of people and exchanged a lot of cards, but I hadn't really connected to anybody, you know? They were just moving through and we were moving through and what have you. So they left, and now I'm standing in this like sea of people, and everybody's got their little conversations going on. And I'm like, well, okay, now what? You know, just like, what should I do now? And I'm like, I get this voice in my head that I should go up onto the patio. So I'm like, okay. So I, you know, make my way to the patio, and I walk up onto the patio, and there's maybe like 40 people up there. This is probably like 600-700 people at this event. So there's probably about 40 people on this little patio, and I'm like, okay, well, what should I do now? Right? And I'm just waiting for the next step, like the guidance to come. So the message I get was, well, you should go sit over there on the sofa next to that guy and start a conversation. So I do, because he's an interesting looking dude. So I go sit beside him, and I'm like, wow, you're interesting to look at. And so we talk, and he goes, I'm gonna go to the bathroom now. And I was just like, too much, right? It's just like, so I'm like, okay, have a great night, nice meeting you. So now I'm just sitting on the sofa, and I'm all alone. And there's all these people, and they're all talking. And I'm like, okay, what should I do now, right? And I get this message of, all I have to do, because this is an affirmation I've been saying to myself for about 4 days, and it just popped into my head. And I say to myself, all I have to do is just sit here, and it will come to me. And within like 10 seconds, this guy like makes a beeline across the room, across the patio, and he comes over and he sits right at my left, and he goes, hi, I'm da-da-da. And I'm like, hi, and he goes, so what do you do? So I told him, he goes, oh my gosh, wait a minute. He gets up, he goes across the room, he gets his boss, he brings him back, and he goes, you need to talk to her. And so his boss tells me this whole story about his business that's not been working, and I see all of his like stuff, his patterns, and I go, well, you just have been stuck in like a comfort zone of apathy. What's up with that? How do you know that? And I'm like, because that's what I do. You know? So all you have to do is just show up, and it comes to you. So now I have a client, and he's just like, this is the most amazing team. They have this great business, and it's got a great structure and a lovely foundation, and he's just not done what he could with it because he's been down here. He's been in apathy, right? So that's a real-time story that happened like a week ago around stepping into these higher realms and then just calling it forward. Because when you're in the higher vibrations and you call it forward, it always shows up. You have to be willing. So that willingness, you gotta be willing. And any dialogue, here's another thing that I think should be on here, is analysis. You know, I can empathize with you, Eileen, because I'm an analyzer. You know, I was in Orange County one time at a client's office, and these guys owned this big mortgage company. It was a subprime lender. The one guy had a thing for Corvettes. He had this big Corvette collection. So we're in one of his Corvettes, and we're driving to the restaurant to have lunch together. And as we're driving down the street, I see this logo outside this building, and I say to him, wow, that's a very interesting logo. Like, I wonder, you know, thinking about you know, being married to you would be like crazy because you analyze everything. And so I can appreciate, you know, that part of it, right? However, just being willing to just allow it to be easy, you know, it's a choice. So the thing is that, and I'll give you this last thought, and then we're going to take a lunch break. So there's basically, you know, there's choice point, and then there's observing yourself, right? So the first place to get to on your journey is self-observation. Because when you're willing to observe your thoughts and the emotions that come, and then the place you come from when you're willing to observe that about yourself. That's number one. So just get into observation mode. Like observe your self-talk. Observe when you walk down the street and you see someone and you judge them. Be aware of that. Be observant of your judgments. And then it'll start to present to you higher levels of awareness that you can make choices from. So there's observations and there's choices. And in terms of the two, observations are good, choices are better. Because in an observation, you can stay stuck in the pattern. By just observing the pattern, you can stay stuck in that pattern. But choosing a higher functionality will always shift you out of observation into a higher ability to move forward. When we're in observation mode, then we just keep recreating whatever we've got. Yeah? When we get into choice, then we actually allow ourselves to reach for greater greatness.
Yeah, I tend to linger in observation.
Yeah.
Since you brought it up, I'm now noticing it.
Yeah.
That I'll linger in it and then it will kind of just conjure up other observations and then bring me the low choice.
Yes.
So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. Choice always prevails.
Finding my observations, I'm very good at judging myself on the observations.
Yeah, and then you're observing your judgments.
Right.
And then judging your observations and observing your judgments.
Right.
Yeah, it takes you down a spiral. Yeah. Yeah, and what we want is to spiral up. So the best way to spiral up is to choose love. Choose love. I choose love. I choose to love myself. Whatever's not working in my life, I choose to love myself. That's what I say that what you said. Yeah. No matter what comes home from school, love the child. Because the child is not the report card. The report card is just an indication that something's not connected on a sensory acuity level. So typically, and it's now, segue back a little bit, typically if someone's a child's having a hard time learning and they can't sit still, it's because they're doers. And if the teacher's not dialed into that, then they'll try to push the child to shut themselves off from their kinesthetic sensory acuity, and that can be the worst thing that can happen to a child.
Right, just because I have a sentimental about it as well. And I took this course and started just teaching myself and I was more conscious about it, my vision as a teacher and a lead. But just from that conversation that I had with Rachel before, I teach her, for example, by saying, wow, I just had that thought aloud. Say, but I choose to love myself, so I'm not going to do that.
Right.
And then she'll hear that, and then maybe she'll pick up the pattern, and then she'll grow up with a more powerful mind capacity.
Yeah.
Okay, saying it loud.
Yeah, the teaching, because they copy what you do.
Right.
So if I'm teaching her an example, I'm actually authentically by saying, wow, I just caught myself doing that. I want to do it because I want to love myself, and I choose this, and she'll start learning that pattern.
I think it's our duty to shift,
Hey, I put this posting on Facebook recently that as parents, your job is to be love for your child. So I want to take what you've shared and I want to bring it full circle. So remember earlier when I said that my biggest challenge as a child was because I came into a family that was in the lower vibrations, massive shame, like I can't even begin to describe how much shame there was. So many generations, right? And I came in like this light beam of love. Not that they didn't, that's another conversation, right? I don't want to go down there because it's too long. But at some point, they were in shame. And I came in and I refused to dumb it down. And so it created all the things. So you don't have to teach your child self-love. your child comes in self-love. What's been happening is you've been trying to get your child to not love themselves by how you do not love yourself. I know, right?
Unconsciously.
I know.
I did that when I was young, and I'm not gonna see them do that again.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. And so you're projecting onto your child lack of self-love. And when I figured that out, I mean, I was a single mom at 15. I had it's like life was just one survival step after another. And when I started to figure it out, it was like there was so much to unwind that I actually didn't get through a large chunk of it till well after my daughter was grown up. And the beauty of it is that now our relationship is just this blossoming, crops of flowers because I stepped into self-love. And as long as I wasn't loving myself, we couldn't have that relationship. So what happens is, so the child, the baby comes in pure love, like pure love, endless, boundless, pure love. And as parents, we're broken and we've been beat down and we're down here somewhere, right? So when that beam of light comes in, we go, hell no, this is reality. Let me show you that you're supposed to be like me. And the more the child shows up as love, the more this happens. And you're right, they do want to model us because the closest relationship a child has to God is their parent. You know, that when we realize that our parents are human, and they fall from that pedestal, is the tipping point to the separation of the relationship. So when that child comes in and they're fully, enamored by you, because you're this God, you're God, right? And they don't know the line between you feeding and clothing and bathing them and God, because you're meeting their needs, then they start to go, well, you're in shame, so I guess I should shame. Or you're poverty thinking, so I guess that's what we do, we do poverty thinking. Or there's guilt, so I guess we do guilt. Or there's self-hatred, so I guess we do self-hatred. So you don't have to teach your child NLP, they already come in, because NLP is not something to learn, it's just a roadmap to how we function between our conscious and our unconscious and our superconscious. What your job is as a parent is to learn to love yourself so that they can remember to continue to love themselves because you come in loving yourself. That's a recording. Does that make sense to you?
I think I'm also from the family of acceptance, right? If you've grown up where maybe not the best of childhood or maybe not the best of background, instead of living in that lower vibration as a parent and being a parent myself, I learned accept, look, they did fall from that pedestal. How do I change that to be better? How do I operate from a place of love to show them how to be better? So where maybe, for example, personally, I was always told, never enough, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. I make sure that I tell my daughter, you are it. Yeah. I am proud of you. You are doing great. Even if it's on a not so great day. Celebrate the small successes because in the end it will transition into a big success.
So what I want you to do is start telling that to yourself. As you do that,
Yes, I totally agree.
because you do that with your daughter or your children, and you even do it with your husband most of the time. The place where you need to now get on board